Hi, I'm AVNJ, and I'm going to the forests of South America, facing off against wandering, tarantula-sized, venomous spiders, dozens upon dozens of venomous snakes, and overall hazardous conditions in the pursuit of new, undiscovered species. I'm gonna be looking for bugs, for birds, for fish, for reptiles, anything that the wildlife of Paraguay and South America has to offer. Let's do it.
Chake, my love is yours.
After a long flight and travel overnight where I was not able to really get any sleep, it was time to begin my adventure in Paraguay. Day one was a little rough. I was pretty tired. I really hadn't slept the night before, so we took it relatively easy. We went to the river along Asunción, the capital of Paraguay, on the western side of the lower part of Paraguay. We hit a couple different spots on the river, but most of them were pretty difficult to find fish, but one of them was quite good, and we were able to catch a few of these Aphaeocharix dentatus. We were able to catch some plecos that you might recognize, including finding a dead one, some cichlids, a banded acara, a lemon-tail astyonyx, and some of the luricarichthes. We then went to another spot where there was a guy fishing, and he had caught some of these spotted pimelodus, so that was cool to see as well. And that was about it as to what we were able to find at that specific spot. We sort of spent the rest of the day making our way to our house for the night and looking at cool birds. There were amazing birds everywhere. You would not believe the amount of interesting birds, just totally different from what I'm used to in the US. All sorts of things I've never even heard of, groups, genuses, family I've never even heard of. Got lots of cool pictures. And then we witnessed the sunset, and it was time to go to bed for the night and prepare for day two, where we would actually begin the journey. Then it was time for day two, and day two might have been the most productive day yet. We headed out in the morning to head out to an urban stream, but first let me introduce you to the people who are guiding me through Paraguay. This is Joaquin and Dulce. We took many pictures together and many videos together. You'll see them throughout the video. These are the two who were kind enough to bring me around the country, introduce me to all of the areas, help me find my way and navigate. So I very much appreciate their help. The first place that we went was this little urban stream in an area near the house that we were staying. Urban streams tend to be on the less clean side, and so the fish that you're going to find there tend to be more tolerant of pollution and common in general. So we found some of these bronze cories, which are pretty common everywhere. We found some of the tetras and astyonyx that tend to be common everywhere. Some plecos that are also quite common everywhere. And some of these zebra darters, which are really cool. They really resemble some of the darters that we have in the US, and they live in similar environments. You might think that going to an urban stream like this would be a waste of time because all the fish are pretty common. But in these really clean rivers, these fish tend to not thrive because they get outcompeted by fish that do well in clean water. So actually, these urban ecosystems can be unique places to find cool fish. And in fact, two of the fish that we caught here, I didn't end up catching anywhere else. Later in the day, we would head to a proper stream on the side of the highway in sort of a natural grassy area. Absolutely beautiful. So many cool fish, so many cool bugs, so many things I can't even describe. I'm just going to show pictures on screen of all the amazing things that we came across on this day. We found more of the darters, more of the cories. We found bigger darters, we found plecos, we found catfish, we found pixie catfish, we found bristlenose catfish, bigger astyonyx. I got better pictures of basically everything. I found cool bugs. It was an incredibly productive stream. This one stream alone probably made up about more than a third of the unique fish species that I would find during this trip. It was an absolutely incredible spot. And with that, it was time to head to day 3. Day 3 was a day of travel, and we did what I do best, which is drive along a road, look for streams that look ecologically interesting, and if you see a cool one, you hop in it and see what you find. We had no plan for what fish we were going to come across, what areas we were going to search. All we knew is we were heading from Asunción to Ibicuí National Park, and by the end of the night we would be sleeping in the national park. But on the way, as many fish as we could come across, as many rivers as we could stop at, as many cool things as we could see, we were going to do. And after stopping at tons of different streams, we found all sorts of unique catfish, my first ottos of the trip, and I believe my only ottos of the trip. These are a very common aquarium fish. If you've ever been in an aquarium store, you've probably been familiar with them. They're incredibly cool. All sorts of new plecos and whiptail catfish, and other types of non-armored catfish as well. We came across quite a few cool species in multiple different streams. I mean, I'm talking miles apart, very close as far as streams and drainages go. There were entirely unique ecosystems. Paraguay is just rich with diversity, especially in terms of fish species. And we would end the night in Ibiqui National Park, where we would be staying, camping for the night, and probably for the next few nights. And then we would be focusing on some of the less fish-related things in the coming days, looking at cool bugs, doing fun hikes for waterfalls. You'll see. Let's get to day 4. I'm going to group day 4 and 5 because they were both spent in Ibiqui National Park at the same little camp area, doing pretty similar things. This was not a particularly fish-focused part of the trip. This was the part of the trip where we went on long, difficult hikes to find beautiful views along the way, stopping all the time to take pictures of incredible bugs, including some of these giant moths. Some of these moths, I think they're caterpillars that we weren't supposed to touch. I'm going to be honest, I didn't even really understand in the moment, but we saw a couple of these and I was told that they were quite dangerous, but I think they're a caterpillar of some sort. All sorts of beautiful butterflies everywhere, with the grand reward of these beautiful waterfalls at the top of the mountain. People come from across the country and outside of the country to see these beautiful waterfalls, so it was a pleasure to see them myself. We would spend the night looking for bugs as well, and it was just a good time. You don't always have to focus on fish. Fish are my primary interest, but I love bugs too, and plants and birds, and really everything as far as wildlife goes. And so spending some time focusing on other things was a lot of fun before we would head out to our next spot. Not without some troubles though. You'll see in the morning. On day 6, we would get ready in the morning to head out to the spot where we would spend the rest of the trip on the far east side of the country on the Rio Paraná. However, things wouldn't quite go to plan, as when we tried to start the car in the morning in Ibiqui National Park, it wouldn't quite start. The battery seemed to be dead, and after finding a park officer to try and jumpstart the car for us, we spent probably 30-40 minutes trying to get the car started. This guy tried everything, including the jumper cables, and then he attached extra wires. He overran his engine, and eventually, finally, after probably 30 minutes of trying to jumpstart the car, the battery finally got started, and we were able to continue on to our journey with a quick stop to get a new car battery so that didn't happen again. And we would head to the far east side of the country to a private farm nature reserve. There's a huge forest, this absolutely amazing flooded lake part of the Rio Paraná on the border with Brazil. And I was basically had free reign of the area, just to go out into the forest and find bugs whenever I wanted, go wade in the river and find fish whenever I wanted, and oh my goodness, did we find some cool fish over the next few days. I'm going to group these last few days into one big segment because it was all spent at the same place, so let's do it.
What up? It's Zach from the past. I am in the forest in Paraguay. And for the first time, I think, this trip, I've been like totally alone. So I can actually sort of do a video without being embarrassed talking to the camera. I hate talking to the camera when there's other people around. So this video so far has just been silent with me going to do commentary afterwards. But welcome to Paraguay. Extremely beautiful, stuff everywhere. Bugs go crazy, fish go crazy, birds go crazy. The diversity is absolutely insane. I'm close to the Rio Paraná right now, and I've caught quite a few species there already, but I'm going back because I saw some cool springtails, and also there's probably other fish species. I mean, this is ridiculous. While I'm recording the video, a unique species of flea beetle that I don't yet have just landed on my net. Isn't that insane? I could just be walking on a forest path and find new species on like every leaf. I hate that the US is so, I don't know what to call it. We just don't have many bugs because there's too much light, there's too much pesticides, there's too much everything. And so to find a cool bug, you have to search like a couple different bushes per bug. Here, I swear to God, you pick a bush, I just like, oh, this bush looks interesting. I will find an extremely cool bug on it. It's crazy. Oh, there's one. Cool moth. So you get my point. Man, I look really bad from underneath. Don't look at that. Anyways, hope you're enjoying the video so far. I'm kind of just rambling. Anyways, the point is, I'm in Paraguay. I love it here. This place in particular is incredible. I mean, the most ridiculously beautiful bugs and cool fish and anything you could possibly think of are here. Absolutely ridiculous. So we shall see what else I managed to find.
And oh man, did this place have a lot. I mean, I'm talking the most ridiculous fish diversity, bird diversity, bug diversity, springtails, anything you could ever want. I have so many photos and videos to show you from this location. I'm just gonna put them on screen and sort of talk. If you want to know what any of the particular species are, you can search on my iNaturalist account. AVNJ on iNaturalist is the username. You can find them. Every picture that I'm showing on screen is something that I've posted on iNaturalist, and at this point should be identified pretty well. The way the place was set out was that it was sort of a farm. We had to come down this muddy road in order to get to the area, but the farm itself was like a mansion. It was huge, it was awesome, there was electricity. We actually had a decent connection for the first time in the trip. There was a period in Ibiqui where there was absolutely no signal. I think it was the longest I've ever gone in my life without having connection to the internet at all. Like no signal, no use of my phone whatsoever. I think it was probably about 48 hours where I did not get a single message or was able to send a single message. Probably since I was like 12 years old. It was the first time. Even in Malaysia, I didn't lose signal for that long. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, at this place, we were able to find all sorts of cool, amazing stuff. There were multiple paths throughout the forest, and all of them would lead you to the Rio Paraná. Basically, this is this giant river that goes all the way through South America, but separates Paraguay and Brazil. It's dammed on the border, close to Ciudad del Este, the nearest city that we were at, and the second biggest city in the country. And so this area is sort of like a flooded lake area, and all of the water comes up onto a bunch of dead tree trunks, because it wasn't flooded that long ago, so the tree trunks are actually still in the water. The water is extremely calm because it's more of a lake than a river, and it creates this amazing habitat for species. The amount of different American tetras and osteonyx that I found was ridiculous. I mean, it took me going through the guidebook and getting help from people in the iNaturalist Discord to have any chance of identifying any of these. I was able to find piranhas. I was able to find all sorts of cool catfish. I caught wolffish when I came out in the night, these big fish that there's a ton of species of in the area. They're a very popular fish for people to fish with like a rod in the area. So those were really cool to see. They just kind of chill in the shallows by the shore at night. There were beautiful cichlids. Of course, all sorts of birds of prey and all sorts of raptors and everything would like to chill out on these stumps in the water so that they got a good view and could hunt some fish. So I was able to see tons of cool birds in that regard too. The forest was absolutely loaded with bugs. I mean, I just cannot describe to you how many bugs that you're seeing them on screen right now, so you know how many bugs there were. This place was awesome, and it was where we spent the rest of the trip, and probably my favorite place throughout the trip. Just really beautiful, really diverse, really amazing. It would rain randomly for like 20 minutes, and then I was able to go out and find springtails on puddles after it had rained. It was just an incredible time. And after this place, it was time to head home. That was my 9 days in Paraguay. It was an incredible journey. I am so thankful for the people that I was able to meet. It would have been so difficult to find or do any of this on my own, and it would not nearly have been as fun. I really appreciate them. The country was beautiful. It was safe. Everyone was kind. There was good food, even though lots of the food in the country is based on meat, and I don't eat meat. I was still able to eat pretty well. Everything was incredible. Thank you, Paraguay, and thank you for watching.